Good night, sports friends, the family. Good night, everyone. Welcome to another Sports Friends, the podcast. As always, I'm a host. Levana with me tonight. I have Ryan, I have Shakes, and I have Kims. Tonight, we'll be looking at the EPL relegation battle and also at Messi and this whole PSG super team that they're actually building. But first up, we're going to start with the EPL relegation dogfight that we expect to actually happen. So first up, you look at the three promoted teams. There are actually Norwich, Brentford, and Watford. Based on what you have seen of all three so far, Ryan, which of the three you think that can actually stay up in the league? Because you know that on average, people always tend to think that it's the promoted teams that are the first ones to actually get relegated. So on that basis, which one you think stand the best chance of staying up in the league and probably go up in the mid-table?
The best chance would be Brentford, based on their progression over the last two or so seasons. And Watford is a typical yo-yo team like a West Brom and Norwich. Those are the typical yo-yo teams that come and they go. I give Brentford a shot. They may not have a Leeds-like season, but I would expect them to finish around the 15, 16 in the Brighton and the Burnley areas at the table. So they are the ones who I give the best chance of staying up.
All right, I'm going to stick with you on that point because Brentford tend to play an expansive style of football, right? Now, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that they tend to play like this, don't you think that they'll actually become one of those whipping boys in the Premier League? Because we have seen it before where teams that plays expansive football down the Championship and come to the Premier League, they always end up getting beaten left, right, and center from all of
Not
the teams.
really. Leeds was no whipping boy last season.
Yeah, but we could put it down to the coach that actually coach Leeds.
Sheffield, first season, Sheffield, when they were playing with overlapping full centre backs, there weren't any whipping boys either. They came ninth. Um, so it is not really true that teams that come up and play expansive football tend to go back down.
But all right, you look at Brentford and what they have done, and they actually made a valid point because they're a team that actually get young players, develop them into, let's say, decent players, then actually sell them for a decent coup. And they have gone out and they have steadily done some business in which you know that their owner is also part owner of FC Michelin over in Denmark. So he brought over a midfielder, a quality midfielder, into the team, and they have basically kept all their players from last season. They
And their
even
coach
kept,
is Danish also, right?
yeah, Thomas
Yeah.
Frank. So they kept hold of Ivan Tony, who a lot of people expected would have left because of his record-breaking goal scoring season last year. And I mean, that is a good thing for them because it always spells for danger whenever you play with a particular amount of players and then you come into the Premier League and then the big boys just take away those players. So on this occasion, Brentford has kept hold of all their players. Only one, well, I believe it's two of the players that were involved last year has moved on to Pastors New, and that is Emiliano Marcandes, who his contract ran down, so he's now at Bournemouth, and I think it was Henrik Dalsgaard who is now at, I think it's Michelin as well. So on that basis, I can see where you're coming from when you say you expect them to continue their progression based on what they have done over
And
the
if
couple of years.
Tony can get half of the goals he got in the championship, let's say he ends with 15 or 16 league goals, then they should be safe.
I agree. Um, Shakes, do you agree with that? How you see the other two teams faring?
Um, I'm just looking at the table, right? And so Brentford, Ryan is right based on what they've done. And I wouldn't even just say for the last 2 seasons. I'd probably say for the last 4 seasons. When they were in the championship, they were actually there or thereabouts. They missed out couple years in the playoffs
Yeah.
before even getting to the playoff final and winning that to head up. So I expect them to do pretty well because they've been consistent, as I said, over the last 3-4 seasons, right? I know that championship football is not the same as EPL football, but guess what? Even looking at the table last year, for me, boy, for some strange reason, I see where Brentford can finish ahead of Crystal Palace. I expect Burnley to be a little bit higher. Brighton, they're going to be there or thereabouts. So I think they can. Those are two spots that they can finish ahead of those teams, right? So Crystal Palace, Brighton.
But Shakes, stick up in. You made mention of Crystal Palace. Don't
Yeah.
you actually think with Patrick Vieira now coaching the team with, and well, you don't necessarily an influx, but they have gone for some youthful players who they have quality and they're trying to move away from that pragmatic style of play that they normally do under Roy Hodgson. Don't you think that they can actually do better than they actually did last season?
So guess what? I don't know what kind of pedigree Patrick Vieira has as a coach, right? So you have to factor that in. Now, you could probably say that if it was a proven coach in that coach that has been getting decent results in the EPL, right? Like a mid-table team in terms of his coaching abilities. But I really don't know what Patrick Vieira is going to bring. All that we're really going to use is his career as a player, and is he going to try to mold the team in the way in which he was an enforcer um in for Arsenal, right, throughout his career. So for me, I honestly, I don't expect anything much of them. I honestly don't like the football that Crystal Palace plays. Like, no joke. Right? Yeah, Zaha is exciting. Okay, cool. Yeah, like probably 5 games out of the 38 games. Right? But that's not consistent. Right? Is there going to be much difference with how Roy Hodgson played? Okay, all right. So Roy Hodgson was all about safety first. Yeah. No, if you and at the end of the day, they still lack quality. So they haven't really added much quality. So if you try to play a little bit more expansive, then guess what? You might be on the losing end more often
But
this season.
Shakes, they have brought in Mark Gueye from Chelsea. They have also brought in Conor Gallagher on loan. They have brought in Michael Olise from Reading. And I believe they have signed one more player that I'm currently forgetting.
Fulham, the centre back
Oh
was on
yeah,
loan.
Joachim Anderson from Lyon.
And
So on that basis, they have let go of Mamadou Sakado and all those players that are over the moon, including Gary Cahill and all those players. So you saw Joachim Anderson in the Premier League last season. He looked in a Fulham team that you could say they struggled somewhat, but he was basically the standout of that team. Do you think that
One
he, along
off.
with
Yeah.
Gueye, can actually form a foreign middle centre back pairing?
Formidable enough to stave off relegation, maybe. But not finish, and I'm not even gonna say mid-table, not even finish say 14th or 13th, because that's a little bit below mid-table for me. I think 8 to 12 is mid-table. So yeah, I think the highest they'll go is probably 15th if they stave off that relegation. Yeah. But as I said, Brentford for me would be the team. Ryan is right again when he says that Watford, Norwich, they are yo-yo teams. You really don't know what you're going to get from them. So if they have like a couple players that play well, then they might stave off that relegation. Right. But I expect those two teams to still be in a relegation battle with Crystal Palace, with Brighton, and let's see. Honestly, I'll probably throw Burnley in the mix.
Southampton.
No, I'm not gonna throw Southampton in there.
I
I
am
hear,
Actually,
too.
think Southampton
I hear you
might
guys
Based on
are
might
how
be
calling,
they ended
calling
last
around and
season,
leaving out a particular team. Why is it
I am
Newcastle
doing
in the
this season.
conversation?
who?
Newcastle.
Oh, so yeah, you know I don't like Steve Bruce, right? Um, but I won't lie, that one little good signing that they make with Joe Willock,
And it's not even confirmed as yet because there's a sticking point when it comes on to the personal terms.
The personal terms, yeah, but eventually he will go because guess what? He's not really wanted at Arsenal. And what's the point? Go play some football. Listen, I won't lie, Levon. Newcastle play horrible football, but towards the end of the season, they had about 6 to 8 games where they were half decent.
Agreed.
If they can have some half decent games for about
You know
12,
why?
12 games,
You
they'll
know
get
why they
some good
had
games.
those half decent game shakes? Because they were pretty much safe, so they were playing without any shackles.
I know. And that is why I tell you I don't like Steve Bruce
So they're going
because
right back to square one.
those people, Steve Bruce, Tony Pulis, Alan Pardew, all of them people, I don't like them coaches because guess what? It's all about safety first and not actually playing football. And then they don't realize that hey, guess what? Actually playing football, you actually get some decent results.
All right.
Mm.
Kims, we
Yes.
just made mention of those teams. Now, I'm going to ask you the question. You think that Norwich has what it takes to actually stay up in the league, knowing that they have lost Emiliano Buendia? They have gone out and they have signed a plethora of players. I mean, they have signed a whole lot of players. And if I start from here, I will stop because they have signed Milat Rashica
Sergeant.
from Werder Bremen. They have signed Josh Sargent from Werder Bremen as well. They have signed Pierre-Lise Meroux from I don't quite remember if it is Nantes or one of those teams over there in France. I stand corrected on that one. But if you look at it from that standpoint, right? And I mean, they have signed other players around now, including the Chelsea man, Billy Gilmore.
Mhm.
Um, with all those signings, you think that they actually can stay up in the league, or I think that is square one again, back down to the championship and then try to return the coming season.
So I actually agree with the guys. I actually think Brentford going to be the team that's going straight back down to the championship. What I believe Norwich,
You
you look.
agree or you disagree with us?
No, you disagree because they said Brentford is going to stay up.
No, Brentford is staying up, you know.
No. I disagree. I disagree.
Oh, okay.
Brentford going back to the championship. But what I think Norwich did, with the abundance of signings is that I think they did their homework. They came into the league and then they dropped back down to the championship. So I believe their feet are wet and they say, you know what, this is the route that I think we need to take in order to stay up. Brentford, yes, you can say Brentford. They have the cohesiveness and the style of play and so, but when I watch the little bit of championship that I watch, when I watch Brentford, I see Brentford up there, then Brentford is not consistent. The up and down, up and down. Even I remember you were one of them who were cheering on Brentford the time when they were playing in the playoffs and then they never make it. You were one of them that
Yep.
was big on them. And I just think they're very inconsistent. And in the Premier League, especially when you're going to be fighting the relegation battle and so, to grind out consistent results would be a major part of it. And I just don't think Brentford have it. So I think Norwich is going to stay up, as much as a yo-yo team, as Ryan said. I think they're going to stay up. I think Watford is going to stay up as well. I think
Oh,
Watford is going to stay up. But Brentford, I definitely, I don't see an avenue where Brentford could stay up. And we'll see how the season play out. This is just predictions, but I'm looking at it and I just think that they're in there. When they decide to play football, they will play it at a high level, but they're just too inconsistent for me to see them staying in the Premier League. I know Shakes talk about Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace, they finished 14th last season. They'll finish there about the same 14th, 15th again. But I don't see Brentford finishing over Crystal Palace, not at all.
well, quick question, Kim. Since as you see, Norwich and Watford actually staying up,
Yes, sir.
which other two you think will actually remain in their
Exactly.
place?
Well asked, Levan.
Well, I
Yeah.
think so. I think Southampton. I think Southampton. Worse them lose Danny Ings. I think
Wow.
Southampton. I think Southampton. When I say gone, I believe they're gone, and I believe Burnley. Burnley missed it last time. Burnley is gone this time as well. So Burnley, Southampton, Brentford. Those are my picks.
I put Southampton in it. Base not well. I put Southampton as a relegation battle at this season. They may survive. The reason why because they are about to lose Vestergaard. They lost Ings.
Mm-hmm.
You have Armstrong, who I'm not certain about, can take Ings' position.
Don't worry yourself, man. He's going to come and fire them.
Ryan, also remember, in the last season, Southampton was down there, They were
I
down.
know, I've never finished yet. And I was going, and I also started by making the point earlier that Southampton are the worst form for 2021, if not the worst, one of the worst. They had like over 20. I know they had a lot of losses in 2021, the second part of the season. So they had like one of the worst form. So if it is that they don't rectify that, then they are going to be in serious problems. And I don't see how they survive without a Ings as things are right now. Shea Adams and Armstrong, I'm not convinced.
And the thing, so Burnley, so last season 11, Burnley finished 17th. And, Burnley is a team where, boy, when they talk about lucky, but Burnley got a 1-0 victory against a team close to I don't remember which team it was, close to the end of the season. They got a 1-0 victory against a quality team. No one expect Burnley to win that game, right? And then, so I just believe Burnley has been riding their luck long enough. And normally in a league like this, your luck will run out. And I believe Burnley definitely going down.
I know that you're a betting man, Nekims.
Yes.
Are you willing to take up a bet that Burnley will stay up in the league?
Burnley or Brentford? I'm willing to take a bet.
Burnley.
I'm willing to take a bet about Brentford.
No, man, Burnley what thing, man. Burnley we are talking about.
They said they're going to
Yeah, they're
I'll
going
take
to
a
stay
bet
up.
with Brentford.
You take a bet with Brentford?
I will.
All right, state your price about Brentford. Levon, I'll get back to you about Burnley.
I'll actually state it on here.
Oh,
I'm willing to stake 20,000 on Brentford staying up. Are you willing to accept?
Yes, I will accept 20,000 Jamaican dollars.
Correct.
Yes.
Producer,
$20.
mark it down.
Producer, market.
What you're willing to bet? Let me see.
You was the one picture.
Hold on. Go again.
No, I'm asking Levon how much he's willing to wager.
I'll wager the same amount as Shakes just did. That was what I was thinking. And Burnley to stay up.
I don't want to lose everything just in case.
All right. So hold on. So hold on. So you want me to take 10 then and make Levon get a 10 so that we just take your money?
No. So I'll do 20 for you and I'll do 10 for Levon.
Oh, all right. Well done. All right.
How about that, Levon? Do you accept?
Yeah, man. That sounds good, man.
So Josh, write those down.
Because guess what, Kims? If there's one thing I'm sure about, it's when it comes on to Shandash and relegation battle, that man is built for these things. No matter if they don't get
Except that one time.
Yeah, man, we can't just give that one time that I passed the ball. This time around, not happening. But if you look at them though, I really can't see Watford actually staying up. You know why? They've gone out and they've done some business there, but if you look at the signings that they have made, you want to say these are actually signings that can provide adequate firepower in the Premier League in terms of them even probably staving off a relegation dogfight. Reasoning, all right. They're gone out and
not only that, Levon, their ownership is what I look on first. Their ownership is trigger happy. They will fire the manager if him turn up not the wrong, if in a color where them not like. So that alone can put a squad on edge. 2-3 losses on the trot, and the squad can be on edge. So you never know what you're getting with Watford, especially from the ownership end. That they alone can just throw off an entire season.
I agree. But Kems, I'm doing so I need to up the betting, man. How can a poor man betting that they are the Vaz Prep CEO?
Tell
Doing.
Put in some money on it, and you can as well. But that is all I can afford. So.
But Kems, the sort of conviction that you spoke with, you should have put your money where your mouth was.
That's what I was thinking.
No, so my conviction is definitely Brentford. That's my conviction. Sure.
So you're 100% sure about them.
100% sure about Brentford. Burnley,
Okay.
Burnley, I'm like a little 75.
Touch and go.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
All right, so
Very
Kim,
nice.
there's Lenny Williams saying that you should bet the car and take the train instead. But if you look at the other teams as we were making mention of, I heard the guys make mention of Southampton, and it is said that Yannick Vestergaard is on his way to Leicester because of what happened to Wesley Fofana, and he's out for a good while. He did the surgery and it was successful, so hopefully he'll recover quickly and we'll see him ASAP. But my problem with them is that, and you can allude to it, Ryan, because they have gone out and they have signed what? Three players from your academy. They signed 2 permanently and 1 on loan. They have signed Livramento on loan permanently, and they have signed Broja, a striker.
No, Livramento. Oh yeah, it's permanent.
Yeah, man, it's permanently. But if you look at it now, Ryan, centre back probably their Achilles heel because yes, they have Jan Bednarik. I mean, they have Bednarik and they also have Salisu, who never played much last season, but this will be the season for
And
him.
they still have Jack Stevens, right?
Yeah, they still do.
Jack,
So if you look at it from that standpoint, it was probably their issue last season. Because remember that even that game that they conceded 9 against Man United, that was the issue for them. Because remember that in that game, Bednarik actually scored an own goal, and he was at fault for quite a few of those goals that were scored. And even if you look at some other teams that they played against that they are done for, it was in that same area. And then also factoring that there's a likely possibility that they may lose James Ward-Prowse because Aston Villa is still over in a run. And I think earlier on today I don't believe I'm not going to make mention of Arsenal because Arsenal is not going to sign him. Arsenal is just being linked as always. But
and the thing is this: if it is that Southampton has a bad start, Ward-Prowse might just stick up him things and will leave come January. If him not go this summer.
So if you if you factor in all those things, you think that this is a team that will actually stay up, even though they have a decent coach from Leipzig days come through. He has proven himself, but I mean, is this too much for him to savor in?
I think they are on very thin ice this season. Very, very thin ice. Based on who they are, they got a few good young players, okay, but they are young players starting their first full season in terms of Broja and Livramento from Chelsea. I don't know how much game time he will get. They have Walker Peters who can be good for a stretch and then can hit a bad patch. You never know where you're going to get from him like that. But it remains to be seen. Huh?
It's a typical Tottenham player.
Pretty much. So it remains to be seen in terms of the game time, how they split it from that end. Or if Livramento will play high up in the midfield areas or whatever. Or if they will go to a back 3 to accommodate him as a wing back. So it depends on how Ralph decides to line up this season, but it's based on what I see from their squad, especially with the front line. I'm not confident that Armstrong can fill the void left by Ings. That's a very big void to fill. I'm not sure Che Adams will pick up on his goal scoring that much. So I think they're on very thin ice.
All right, and here's Sherwin Bannick in the comment section saying that I'll bring up the comment. Saying that only playing Southampton I like are the African 12. Levan, I can't pronounce his name. So he has numbers. He's now wearing the number 19 and you're talking about Musa Jenipo. So yeah, he's a decent player, but I mean
nothing special.
There you have it. Nothing special.
Listen, he's a pacey, half decent guy that will get around players but do absolutely nothing in the final third.
But
a little bit like the Castle guy.
Oh yeah. But Saint Maximin better than him though.
Yeah, Saint Maximin better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ryan, you just made mention of something that I looked at, and I actually think that's the way you'll actually play this season. And knowing that they have no signed Livramento is very good going forward. I think he might very well set up this team to play 4-4-2 with Armstrong and probably what's his name, Adams up top. Knowing that you can play Jenipo on one side and yeah, whichever one. So I mean that could very well be the possibility. And all the time will tell, because last season I said it to Dima before the season started that Southampton was short on players. Dima run
Hold
me down
on.
for the
Hold on there. Who replaces Bertrand?
Ryan Bertrand.
Yeah.
All right, so what they're thinking is that Livermore can play both right and left. But
No, I'm
no,
not
no,
only that, you
no,
know.
no,
Remember,
no. Romain Perrard. That's the youth that has replaced him.
remember that also Kyle Walker Peters, when he was in England under 21 team and under 20 team, he played left back.
Yeah, but
So he can also play.
I just remembered, man. They actually signed a left back. His name is Romain Perrard. They signed him from a team over there in France.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering who if they're going to put one of the right back at left back.
They signed a replacement, man. So yeah.
Okay.
But definitely, if they lose Vestergaard for 15 mil, they'll actually need to go out and sign a centre back. So let's see how that one goes. So let's recap. So who you actually think going on? Give me the three, Ryan.
I can give you 2.5 right now. The two that came up in Watford and Norwich, and I am looking at Southampton as the third. Not fully, as I said, they aren't nice. So 2.5.
Yeah, we're talking about currently. So based on what they're set up at this point in time, I think that they'll go down. So Shakes.
Yeah. So Levon, let me give you 5 teams that are going to be in a relegation battle. So Newcastle, Norwich, Watford. So Newcastle, Norwich, Watford, Crystal Palace, and Brighton. Right? Those are the 5 teams. I expect Norwich to go down along with Watford, and I'm gonna stick with Crystal Palace. Brighton to make it by 2 points.
Crystal Palace is a very good shout because Lampard allegedly did not take the job because he realized that he had a lot of new faces to bring in. He never wanted to take the chance, which is what Vieira is doing. And we know that Vieira imploded in France in his second season and is a big risk as it is right now with Crystal Palace.
And it's also a good excuse, Ryan, the fact that he's a first-time manager in the EPL. So if Crystal Palace actually goes down, you're like, well, we had coaching changes made. So, yeah.
Can I point out that I don't like Patrick Vieira as a coach? None at all. I think he is in the same realm of some of those that we have seen before, and they aren't any good. So
like Gary Neville, eh?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, yeah. Kims, let's repeat.
Let's repeat. Brentford. Burnley. Saints.
Repeat that third? Oh, Southampton. Okay.
We call them there.
No, let's look at some transfers across the globe that has gone on. And
hold on, we forget one team. You guys don't think Arsenal are going to be in the relegation fight?
Come on, mid-table. Mid-table. Ninth.
8 and 9 is their place. 8, 9 are 10th, right thereabouts.
That should be their aspiration to finish no less than 9th.
Okay.
So no, let's look across the globe, and we can't look any further than over by PSG. They've gone out, they have signed a Liverpool player on free. That's GG Wijnaldum. They have signed the player of the tournament at Euros in Gianluigi Donnarumma, arguably the best goalkeeper there is right now.
That I agree with.
They have also gone and they have signed Sergio Ramos, who I think is over the moon as well, just like a few other players. I think Ramos is coming to the end of his career. They also went out and they signed one of the best young right back there. He's in the world right now, and I don't care anybody want to say it. For me, Achraf Hakimi is the best right back there. He's in the world.
That I agree with also.
All right, wing back.
Right back, right wing back, whichever one you want to term it as.
I think he's the best right wing back, but I want to see him as a right back.
What you just said, sir? Boss man, just shut up, boy. It's not good as the English ones. What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, please.
Right wing back, yes. Right back, I'm not convinced he's the best.
Have you seen him as a right back?
That's what I'm saying. I want to see him as a right back.
So you want me to rephrase my?
See him a lot as a right wing back, and I say, okay, good. He's very good there. Now I want to see him as a right back because of two different positions, two different starting positions, two different roles. Right back, right wing back. So I want to see him as a right back.
So let me rephrase it. So he's the best right wing back there is in the world.
I would give him that. But
you
right
know why?
back,
You know why? I said that. Right now, Ryan is a man that always talk about consistency. This man has performed consistently over the past 4 seasons at whichever club he was at.
I'm not so sure it's 4. I know of the Dortmund and the one at
remember that he spent 2 years. Remember, I spent 2 years at.
It was 4 at Dortmund. Oh, so 3 then. And he was mostly right wing back.
Yeah. At both clubs, even at Inter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I need to see him consistently now as a right back to see what he's made of.
Okay.
To see him at that level, at the Trent level and those guys' level.
What Trent level? What are you guys talking about?
Trent had the off season. Let us not pretend that Trent is not that good.
You guys actually.
I said it before.
Yeah, the off season. Everybody gets off season.
Even when Trent was playing up there, I said it that I still thought that Hakimi was better than him.
Trent needs to learn.
Okay.
Ryan, how you rate a right back that just can't defend?
I don't understand.
Because his primary duty is to defend.
Yeah, but who we're talking about here? Trent.
Trent.
Yeah, but Trent lack of defensive ability is overstated if we're talking the truth.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay.
All right, first, why do you say it's overstated?
All right, here's the thing. Last season, when he had that off season, it showed up more when he did not have a Joe Gomez to cover for him.
But that's the point.
No,
he needs cover.
That's why you need.
And
that's
what makes some. No, Ryan.
You know
what makes a good player is his attributes.
Hello. If I am a right back and I go up with the ball and I'm in the final third and the play breaks down, it is impossible for me to run. You can't run left a ball. So it is impossible for me to run down the ball and come back in position. So you need to have a solid defensive midfield, or you need to have and you also need to have good centre backs who cover your position for you until
I have one question to ask you.
Why?
So to say that,
so is Trent caught out more often than not, or is he?
I want to call it. I always don't understand why people say caught out when your job is also to attack. So if the play breaks down, and it happens a lot with Robertson as well. I don't hear people say Robertson get caught out.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. Is Trent a world class? Is Trent a world class player?
He was ranked as the number 1 right back before last season.
No. I didn't ask you his ranking. I ask you, is he a world class player? Simple question.
Before last season, yeah.
Cool.
Let us not pretend that he did not have 3 quality seasons before last season.
3 quality attacking seasons. Yes, he did.
Ryan, let me tell you something. You see the standard of how we rank players nowadays in modern football is just very strange, right? Because if I go to Dani Alves and say, all right, Dani Alves used to do wonders in terms of attacking, but at the end of the day, he could still defend. No, that's a world class player to me.
Dani Alves had good Busquets, and he had good centre backs covering for him. That is
All right.
exactly what I'm saying. Once you have a good base covering for you, it allows you
Ryan, any single team Dani Alves has been in, he has been more than capable to do
both
his
ways.
duties.
I agree with you.
So Dani Alves don't need nobody to
Which
cover.
is why I'm
Listen,
last season.
It's like talking about Pogba.
Season, no,
when
hold on, let me
Pogba
finish.
needs.
Last season,
Yeah,
Liverpool lost their 2 centre backs, and they lost. They pretty much lost Henderson and Fabinho because they became centre backs. So that showed the entire. Their entire team chemistry.
Wow.
So let us not pretend that did not
This is
happen.
coming from Real Eden Chelsea. They're just saying that, Ryan, this is the worst analysis I've heard from you.
Thank God is Eden
Okay,
saying
and
this.
and she's entitled to her opinion.
Ryan,
we're not going to pretend.
You cannot tell me that Trent is a world-class
We
player.
are not going to pretend
way.
that Liverpool did not lose their centre backs and their midfields.
Yeah, we understand that, Ryan. But listen,
So to say,
a world-class player, Ryan, never needs another player to cover for them
nobody
in any
argued.
position. That
Yes,
is a
they
fact.
do. Yes, they do. They have
No.
to. If you don't have it, you cannot.
Be
It don't
world
make
class.
any sense. How you going to come back?
Wow. Ryan, listen to what I just said. No world-class player needs.
So every time Dani Alves goes up and the ball is lost, Dani Alves magically appear back in his position.
Not every time, but he's not.
But if he needs to defend, he's able
because
to
he
defend.
had players sitting in for him.
Come on, Ryan.
You think
No, Ryan.
magically appear back in his position?
No, Ryan.
No, you had players. You have the centre back is you're supposed to have a DM that covers the half spaces, and then if the play go down further, the centre back come over and cover, and then you as the right back, when you get back in position, you pick up for them. That is how it goes. Right, you never know that.
Shake, so here what is the thing? Ryan is looking at it from a Liverpool standpoint, knowing that
Liverpool, no, I'm looking at it from a footballing standpoint.
Has basically centered a lot of their attack around those two wing.
Exactly.
Players wingers, you know.
Exactly.
Right? So Ryan is looking at that from that standpoint and saying that those men tend to cover for them. So in that sense, not much is needed. But what Ryan also failed to forget is that even when Trent was at the top of his game, even Liverpool
he could not defend.
Defending.
Thank you. He cannot defend. And that's his primary job, Ryan. I'm not saying that he isn't good attacking-wise, right? But his primary job as a right back is to defend. That is how football has been and will always be, unless they change rules of football.
I rate Reece James as a better overall right back.
Thank you.
Trent Alexander-Arnold. You know why? He's way more balanced.
Thank you.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. But
so hold on. So that means you're telling me that Reece James is world class.
Reece James has never had this season that Trent had. But it is clear that Reece James is more balanced, don't it?
So he's a better player.
He's more balanced.
So is he a better player?
Until Reece James has a season that Trent has, then I can't say anything more than he's more balanced.
Is he a better player?
Yes he's or no? Balanced.
No, man. So may I ask you, is he a better player? Yes or no?
He's not a better player as yet. Until he gets a season close to what Trent has had, then I won't say that.
Okay, cool.
But I will say he's a better balanced player.
All right. Strange.
No. But that's what I said. I said it, man. No, man, I said it. I said Ryan is arguing from that standpoint because of how Liverpool tend to set up. So it's required for those fullbacks to go forward.
No, but Barcelona was set up the same way. Nobody argued that Alba couldn't. Nobody never said Alba couldn't defend. Alba get caught out a lot.
No, yeah, but that is why. But that is why. But that is why you knew that Alba. That is why you knew that Alba is not a great defender.
You see, as if you don't understand that players cover for players.
All right,
but
so
Ryan, but that is why Alba is not a great. He's not a great left back.
The comment section seem not to understand how football is played. Players cover for players. That's how football is played. It's not a standing up position.
Oh.
Okay, so
I guess football change.
Let's not look
it
at,
has always been that way.
Let's now look at the other player that PSG has signed. They have signed one Lionel Andres Messi. Would I say that it is the final dance for Messi in terms of get a peak season from him now that he is at PSG with all these players around him? And let's also point out a quick thing that I saw earlier on today, that Gigi Wijnaldum turned down the opportunity to play at Barcelona with Messi to go to PSG just because they offered more money, and they end up with the double because guess what? He got the money and he's still going to end up playing with Messi. So it's a win-win for Wijnaldum in that sense. But PSG, they have gone and they have signed Messi, and you know that I saw another stat. Before Messi signed for PSG, the day before, they had like 19.8 million followers on Instagram, and the following day after he signed, that raised to 40.2 million followers. So over 20.2 million followers in just a day. So you see the impact of him, and all those jerseys by PSG for Messi sold out within 20 minutes of them being released. So that's the impact of the man. Now with him at PSG, now you think they have assembled a team that can basically win the Champions League next season, starting with Kems?
Well, of course. If you look, if you look at PSG, I believe they were in the finals, and then after the finals, went to semifinals. Now them signed the guy who is arguably the GOAT. I know, I believe they have a more balanced team. I know you can't really key in on Neymar, or you can't key in on Mbappe, because then who's going to key in on Messi? So I believe that they have a lot of different avenues where they can attack you and where they can dominate you from. So there should be no excuses, because right now, the French league is already wrapped up. We're not even have to talk about it. The French league already wrapped up. Messi now have to exert now bag of energy, and so it's just just the cohesion of the team and all of that. The Champions League is where it's at. He's on the clock. I believe 2 years. I believe he could give them 2 quality years at PSG and win 2 back-to-back Champions League. I don't see any team out there. The only thing that can stop PSG is that bug coach. That's the only thing that can stop PSG. That coach that people cry that they wanted him at Manchester United, and he's just not good enough to me. But not even him can blunder such quality. So I believe it's PSG's Champions League to lose. Today, PSG Champions League champions already. It's their trophy to lose.
As a producer, what you're saying?
I was saying that Ken said 3 statements with no, right? And he forgot to say one.
What?
Right now, PSG is balanced. Right now, they have Messi.
Yeah.
The one that he forgot to say is that now is the time for Pochettino to win a big trophy.
That man, I remember that man said for Tottenham, say winning trophy is not his main objective. Or I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly.
Your coach said the same thing.
Huh?
Your coach said the exact same thing word for word.
Exactly.
So we're not talking about my coach. No, we're talking about Mauricio. That's who we're talking about. So, as I said before, Levon, I just don't. It's time for him to win a big trophy, sure, because he won a trophy when he just got PSG because he inherited the team when they were already in the finals, couldn't lose, right? So now, I believe they'll win the French league, as I said, and it's just the Champions League, because remember, Juventus brought in Ronaldo to win the Champions League. All no, still no Champions League for them. But for PSG, I just don't see how they could lose the Champions League. I just don't see it. If everyone is healthy,
right, so Kems, I'm going to take up that argument down the road about Juventus bringing in
and just
Ronaldo.
And one more thing, just for anybody on the panel and the viewers, I am taking $100,000 Jamaican dollar bet that PSG will win the Champions League this season. So anybody that bet,
I am in.
Where's the producer? I'm writing.
Huh?
Since I think you say you could only afford 30.
Exactly. Levon, up your bet. Up your bet.
Manchester United.
Up your bet.
But
no, seriously though. I think PSG is being overrated now because Messi joins the team.
I agree.
We're still forgetting that PSG has deficiencies. Yep. Their midfield isn't all that special, even with Wijnaldum in it.
Horrible.
They still have
agree.
issues in their midfield.
Verratti can't save it.
They need a left back. I'm not convinced about their left back position. Fine, they get a goal. Well, they never really have a goalie problem to begin with.
All right.
But I think the team, I think PSG is more top heavy than anything else.
Hold on, but
And
Ryan.
I think PSG can easily be found out in Europe.
All right, Ryan.
I don't think there are anything that's special
Okay.
in Europe.
All right, Ryan. So the reason why they lost the Champions League last season was why? Because of the midfield and the left back. I'm just trying to understand.
That contributed.
So because they had a bad midfield and a bad left back, that's why they lost.
They actually had a bad
I'm not
midfield last year.
going to boil it down to one single element.
Okay.
There are a myriad of reasons playing to these things.
Okay. And then the final now. The final that they played against, I believe it was Bayern. The final that they played
They were never going to beat Bayern.
I'm glad that you brought
They
that up.
got an easy right to the final, and they met Bayern that they never was going to beat.
So Kems, I'm glad you brought that up because the producer just whispered and said that a fit Bayern this time around is going to kick PSG ass.
Because I was just waiting to talk because this is me with the Bayern Munich team sheet right here. And I'm like, right? I don't know what Kim's talking about.
Well,
Because for me,
everybody just think PSG all about
for me, Levon, right?
The
The best signing that PSG made was not Lionel Messi. It was Gianluigi Donnarumma. Right? That was the best signing. I was surprised that no other club in the world of football wanted to pay that man his wages and get that man on a free.
As Ryan said, PSG never really had a goalkeeper problem.
I know.
However, getting that man at his age.
Oh my word, Levon. I was so hurt. And this is prior. Remember, this is prior to Euro. So I'm not talking about Donnarumma because of the Euro.
No, I remember so long
right?
before that.
Long before, right? I remember you and I even spoke about Dean Henderson versus Donnarumma one night earlier in the year, right? And for me, I couldn't see why even Man U couldn't go and snap up Donnarumma because that man is so imposing. When the man stand up in the goal, is that the man take up the whole goal. Why wouldn't you want him? And his age, he has 290 odd caps overall at his age, my word. But anyway, Donnarumma is the best signing for PSG. Now, what Ken said, at the end of the day, a fit Bayern Munich team can beat that PSG team. Why? Listen, Neymar, outside of that 1 year, where he combined with Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez to win that 2015 Champions League title, Neymar hasn't really done anything of significance when it really matters. And I'm talking about semi-finals and finals now.
I'm thinking about it too in a shake. I know that his returns over there in France is very poor.
Very poor, right? Very, very poor. And he just can't stay fit when it comes on to the knockout stages anyway, right? Not only that, hold on the Kims. Because you were the one that said, yo, them can't lose. Them can't lose. So let me ask you this, Kims.
Yes, sir.
This trident that they have, right? And the midfield that they have behind them at present, guys, today we're talking about, you believe that team can match up with, say, the 2015 Barcelona team? In terms of quality.
2015 Barcelona team.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. So I believe that this current Bayern Munich team, because for me, if Lewandowski never got injured, I had Bayern and Chelsea in the final. Because that was my prediction when the round of 16 was actually made. So I expect Bayern. Yes, I expect Bayern Munich to actually beat PSG. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I want to always telling you, it's one thing with sports, the time will always come for it to be proven. Always.
No problem. No problem.
So,
and I want to see that game.
So when PSG win Champions League, we don't want to hear nothing. If it's injuries, then okay. But apart from
I
that,
think PSG is just mismatched, to be honest with you.
No,
I
Kems,
think
let me tell you,
And the
when
coach,
it
and
comes
the
down
coach
to
is going to get
injuries,
the blame for it.
when it comes on to injuries, we can understand if a team has significant injuries,
Yeah.
like even Lewandowski last year. So we can't really count Bayern last year because we all understand.
Yeah.
Now, if they had lost with Lewandowski, I could understand, right? That's why I'm saying I would want to see that matchup. I don't even want to see Man City versus PSG
Man
or
City.
Man City versus Bayern Munich, because I think that even though PSG still top heavy, I still think that PSG could outscore Man City.
Yeah, you see, when I talk about, you see, on the last podcast, you and Demo talk about John Gravel. If
Yeah,
PSG play Man City, that is what it's going to be. John Gravel all over again. You
yeah,
know,
but it's the same thing. I could say the same thing in terms of with Kimpembe.
no, but he won't start. It will
Kimpembe.
Marquinhos
Well,
and Ramos.
yeah, that is true because
But
Sergio
then
Ramos
again, Jake, then
will be
again,
rested for the Champions League.
no man. Kimpembe will actually start, and you know why? Ramos is going to be injured. That
Well,
man cannot get it.
but Levon, remember, we using no injuries at this time.
Yeah, man, I know.
We
Yeah.
using no injuries. Yeah.
I'm
You can start, man. They might put Marquinhos in midfield again.
So let me ask you a question. So you don't believe that with the acquisition of Lionel Messi, you don't think that with some kind of rejuvenate Neymar in some kind of way, to kind of get the best out time, or the same the
Yeah.
2015 Barcelona where you talk about get that Neymar out time. What do you think about that?
6 years is very far, Kems, from 2015, right? That let me tell you. You see, remember when Neymar left Barcelona, everybody said that it was a mistake with him leaving. Why? Because he was entering the prime of his career. At 23, 24, if Neymar had stayed 2 more seasons at Barcelona, they could have done something special, because Suarez was in his prime. Messi was still in his prime. Yeah, Messi still in his quote unquote just coming down off the hill now from his prime, but he would have been in his prime at that time. So he got up and made a silly move. No, I don't believe that he can actually recapture that form. No, if you tell me that, you're hoping that Mbappe can go on to bigger things, then that is where I will agree with you.
But Shakes, we're not talking about Darren Mattacks and them, and then we're talking about Neymar, brother. Like
Neymar is roly poly oly.
But
yeah.
What I want to say is that I expect Messi to score at least 50 goals this season. We're playing against Metz, Troyes, Clermont, and those teams. So I expect a 50 goal season.
Nice. Angers. Levon, it totally slipped me. I want to ask all of these Barcelona fans and Messi fanatics if they still consider the French league to be a farmers league now.
Good question, but we'll follow it up as we go on this season.
We know the answer to that already.
Ryan, it's your minute of fame. You can go on and celebrate your European Super Cup win on penalties. Talk about that substitution from.
I was wondering how you never bring that up earlier.
Because this is a preseason game.
Well, it's a trophy.
Yeah, quickly.
It's a trophy. I'm glad to open the season with a trophy, regardless of how we won it. The fact is, we won it. We won it. We have lost it 2 times before on penalties, and we tried. Apparently, Chelsea was trying to lose it when they were leading in the second half, because we made a lot of silly mistakes prior to the goal scoring. But when it came to penalties, I am not a fan of Kepa as a goalkeeper, but when it comes to penalty shootout, I have more faith in him than Mendy, and it paid off. And the coach made the right change in terms of putting in the better keeper penalty.
So,
I beg one favor of you before you say anything, Kems. Don't mention what happened last season, with United. Don't. We're not go back there.
no, man.
I'm going to tumble in and decide if you go back there.
No, man, I'm not go at this. So, again, Ryan, I always say hindsight 2020. So should he made the change and kept on a save, no penalty. I know, and Chelsea lose. I know you're coming today and say the coach.
No, if you look on the football thread, when Kepa was coming on and the Chelsea fans were cussing and saying, where am I coming on for? I was saying they're putting on the better keeper for penalties.
Oh, okay.
I clearly said it.
Oh,
So I have the record.
oh no problem. I believe you. I was just double
He
checking.
made the post and screenshot himself.
But yeah, it's just a situation like in 2014 World Cup when Louis van Gaal brought on Tim Krul and
Kim
all
Krul.
that. So yeah, just one of those things. And as I said to Ryan backstage, it's easier to me for a keeper to get in that frame of mind in
Yep.
a penalty shootout rather than a player to actually score. Quickly, your 30 seconds shakes on any particular topic.
Boy. I'm just gonna talk about Haaland versus Mbappe. I want to see them doing well in terms of in the Champions League this year. I'm looking out for 45 goals from Haaland overall. Now this is if he remains injury free. The same for Mbappe. I believe he can get 40 goals for the season. Those are two young players that I want to see thriving throughout this season.
All right, so for Haaland, 42 more to go because he's already on 3.
Yes.
Kems, your 30 seconds.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm just saying. Once again, Brentford going down. That's $20,000. Burnley going down. That's 10,000. PSG win the Champions League. That's 100,000. So
Somebody will take you up on that one.
That's
right.
it.
Ryan, your 30 seconds.
Congrats again to Chelsea for winning a trophy, even though they made hard work of it. And I hope for our sake, we have a better season than how we played tonight.
All right, I'm going to end this by saying that Kems, thank you for that little 10-pack. And then I know that Shakes will also win that 20-pack.
I'll be happy.
Shakes will use it as sponsorship for the show, right?
Well done.
All right, so yeah. Thanks much, Kems. We actually have to thank you in advance, isn't it? So thanks again to all our viewers, all our commenters, and as I always say, I encourage you guys to comment more, and we want to keep you guys engaged with us. And I encourage you more to even tell your friend, your family, with own business who they are, in terms of if they're sports fanatic or not. Just tell them to subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. We're looking forward to you guys helping us grow further, so please just continue to subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it more. And thanks again to Ryan, Shakes, and Kems for being here, and to our producer Josh Carlo makes this possible. The next time, which will be tomorrow, we'll also be discussing some football again, and whichever sports there is to be discussed. And stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your night. See you guys until tomorrow.